Wake Up Heavy is a Weirding Way media podcast.
There's sometimes a buggy.
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, the world's greatest horror movie podcast. On this episode, my weird dad and I will be talking about
Hello and welcome to Wake Up Heavy. This is Mark Begley, your host. Joining me, why I say once again, joining me as always is my daughter Cleo.
Yup.
And we're going on a little David Lynch side quest here for you. We are prepared for the next Twin Peaks episode because we have watched episodes 7 through 12 of The Return.
Mm-hmm.
We're good on that. But before we got into that, or before we finished that, we had a free night. Your mom was out on a girl date, I think.
Yeah.
So deciding on what to watch, a little bit easier if you just stick with the same topic. Mm-hmm. You still haven't seen a lot of David Lynch's films.
Nope.
I've got a few on Blu-ray and or DVD, and there's a couple available on different platforms. And it was between, I think, Blue Velvet and Mullholland Drive.
Mm-hmm.
My tendency is always to go in order, but, whatever. That's just me.
Womp womp.
I was confused about what you wanted to watch, so I put in Blue Velvet, and you're like, I picked Mullholland Drive. So we watched Mullholland Drive. This is one, I've watched it. I can't say, I know I haven't watched it nearly as much as most other David Lynch things. Definitely more than Inland Empire, which I think I've only watched 1.5 times.
1.5?
Well, because I caught it on HBO years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the second half of the movie, or maybe even just the last hour of it. And then I bought it on a real crappy DVD and watched that. That is one I need to watch again. I've only seen the straight story maybe the same, like 1.5 times.
Yeah.
The rest of his movies, particularly Blue Velvet and Eraserhead, I've just watched a ton.
Yeah.
Mullholland Drive is sort of in the middle there. I know I've watched it more than Lost Highway because I like it more than Lost Highway, and I've definitely watched it more than Firewalk with Me because I definitely like it more than Firewalk with Me. On this watch, I realized, and I told you a little while after that, I'm like, this might be my second favorite now.
Yeah.
I might actually like this more than Blue Velvet, which
is crazy because I know you like that one.
Yeah, it surprised me while we were watching it, but I was like, oh man, this is so good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into it. It's different. It's got a different feel, but it is one of those movies like Blue Velvet that I connect. Eraserhead, Blue Velvet, and Mullholland Drive have these connections for me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are very superficial. Mm-hmm. There's a feeling about them that I get when I watch them that strikes me as very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, enough about me. What did you think, having seen... You mentioned on one of our episodes that you've only seen Eraserhead.
Yeah. Well, and Firewalk with Me now.
Oh, I think it was on when we talked about that. But you have seen Dune.
Oh, yeah. Well, I forget that that's a Lynch movie. So
It's a David Lynch film. And a good one, in my opinion.
The strangest... Oh, that movie is so weird. It's Dune, but...
You still are way, way behind. So this is really the... David Lynch? No, 4th now. Sorry. Now I'm miscounting.
Yeah, 4.
Eraserhead,
Yes.
Dune, Firewalk with Me, and Mullholland Drive are the 4 films. So out of the 4 films that you've seen of his, what did you think of Mullholland Drive?
I really liked it. Compared to the others, I think I like it more. I like Eraserhead. I don't know. I just liked it more, and I don't know how to describe the difference in my brain. But I really liked Firewalk with Me, but I think I do like Mullholland Drive a little bit more, especially because it's a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
In my brain, Firewalk with Me is just another episode almost of Twin Peaks. So that's why I also think I like Mulholland Drive a little more, because it's just its own standalone movie. And it's maybe a little more like has a plot compared to Eraserhead.
I mean, Eraserhead has
a
similar stuff. It's, for me, what struck me was how mature this film was. With Eraserhead, obviously, first film, he was still in his 20s, taking 5 years to make and on very little money, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's still my favorite of his.
Yeah, and I still really like it because it's such a fun watch.
Compared to Blue Velvet, my other favorite, I think it has a maturity well above that even. That's what really struck me, is like the emotional maturity of the story, not necessarily of the characters, but how they're dealt with and how they deal with each other.
Yeah, they're like depth and stuff.
Seems much more emotional and full to me than a lot of his other films, including Lost Highway, even including Fire Walk with Me and the whole of Twin Peaks, except maybe for The Return. There's a lot more going on underneath and between people than I think in previous films. And that really struck me. And I probably am only noticing it now because of my own age and maturity, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting kind of beyond the, not shock value, but the more surreal aspects of Eraserhead or Blue Velvet that I really love. I mean, those are kind of superficial things to enjoy, visuals and ideas, the light bulbs that burn out.
Yeah.
As an example, that I always love it when I see that in his movies, and we see that's a through line from Eraserhead to here.
Yeah.
That happens in this movie. That tickles me whenever I see it in any of his work, but that's really kind of just a superficial pleasure, not I'm connecting with this story, with these characters.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive feels very like rounded out. Again, maybe not the characters are like fully emotionally mature because the plot and what they do. Yeah, the story itself is very like, this is what's happening with these people. This is why. This is how they feel. I like it. It was cool. It's rounded out.
And this may be loading this up early, but the other thing, I feel kind of dumb for even saying this, but the other thing that I really got out of it this time, obviously the movie is about Hollywood, and it's not a necessarily positive essay on Hollywood.
Yeah.
It really struck me this time, the way that Hollywood treats female actors.
Yeah.
A lot of people are probably going, well, duh, Mark. I mean, I got that part of it before, but it seemed much more, and this may be because, you know, Me Too has happened since then. The Harvey Weinstein stuff has happened since then.
Yeah, basically, like, everything has happened since then.
And those are both connected.
Yeah.
And just continuing, finding out weekly about some guy in Hollywood being a creep. Producers, studio execs, all that. Directors.
It's like every other week. It's constant.
But I didn't really catch on to that aspect of this is the girl part of the story.
This is the girl.
This is the girl.
This is the girl.
This is the girl.
You've got Ann Miller in there as the landlady, I guess, of the apartment complex where Betty's aunt lives. What happened to her after a certain age?
Yeah.
Most likely wasn't getting any work, right?
Yeah.
The other creepy lady that comes by the apartment and says someone's in danger, Lee Grant, another old
witch
actress who probably stopped working after she aged out. You know, this idea of aging out is a part of this story. It's not just the male creeps in Hollywood. It's the, you've reached a certain age, we're done with you.
There's also the competitive putting women against each other in the initial part of the movie. It's her technically, but like in the initial part where she's like, oh, this is the unknown blonde we want to cast. That's kind of competition for Naomi Watts' character. I don't remember which name she goes by at that point.
She's Betty at the beginning.
And then by the end, it's her and Rita going basically up against each other for that role because it gets like swiped out from under her. So there's that competitive nature too, which is kind of perpetuated by all the men, but yeah.
Let's get that stuff out of the way. The characters, and we'll talk about what our interpretations, quote unquote, later.
Yeah.
Naomi Watts plays Betty Elms, apparently, / Diane Selwyn.
Yes.
And Laura Herring plays Rita / Camilla Rhodes.
Yes.
And there's another Camilla Rhodes in there, played by Melissa George, who is auditioning for the film that Justin Theroux is making.
Yeah.
The main, quote unquote, let's say that not the main, but the starting point is with Betty and Rita.
Rita, yes.
And then later on, when it's those two against each other, it's Diane and Camilla.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the competitiveness and just the idea of, well, Rita walks across Sunset Boulevard at the beginning of the film, which you haven't seen that movie. You may know something about it. It's about an aging actress, an aged actress who was tossed aside at a certain point. And the whole movie is about her trying to make a comeback. And this really messed her up. And she's a recluse and she has a pet chimpanzee. And
okay.
You should really watch it sometime. It's a great, great movie. And it's a tragic movie. And I don't think that is a subtle nod to it at all. I think that's a very open nod to it.
Clear. Yeah.
That's, to me, what Mullholland Drive is all about. Is this is what happens to female actors in Hollywood. You're disposable.
I think definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so that became obvious to me on this watch. Very obvious. And again, people are probably going, well, no, shit, Mark. Glad you finally caught it. But I think part of that is always being so flummoxed by the movie and trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, the way it's told is not specifically focusing on that in a way, because they're making out with each other and like there's tiny old people, there's other stuff.
Well, and it's supposed to be a mystery.
Yeah,
they're trying to find out who Rita is, and or who this Diane Selwyn is. Pops up later in the movie when she has some recall.
Yes,
it's framed as a mystery. There's way more subtext to it than just that,
for sure.
I had a dream about this place.
Oh, boy.
You see what I mean?
You've only seen it once.
Yeah.
I know the first time I saw it, having seen Lost Highway at least a couple of times prior, which again is not one of my favorites, he explores this idea of a person becoming somebody else in that movie. Balthazar Getty literally turns into another person in that film.
Actually, the Bill Pullman character turns into the Balthazar Getty character,
who is already a character in the movie, but whatever happens. So this has some of that too. Even in Twin Peaks: The Return, and technically, I guess, the original Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
We're dealing with tulpas and doppelgangers and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know at that time in 2001. Your mom and I probably saw it maybe a year after it played in theaters. We rented it. And at that point, I had been disappointed with his previous couple of films, so I didn't rush out to go see it in the theater. And I believe by the time we were like, well, let's go see it, it was already gone. I don't think it played in Fresno for very long. We did rent it pretty quickly, though, after it came out on video. And I was like, oh, I really like this. Yeah. But I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that because I had that feeling already with Lost Highway to an extent. That might be a little bit more clear about what's going on. And as we were discussing prior to recording, it's a nonlinear story, but it doesn't have that cutesy hardline reset like Pulp Fiction or even like Weapons.
Yeah, Weapons or Hill House is always the main one that I think of. You get a very clear division. This is past, this is future.
Right.
Type thing like that. Mullholland Drive doesn't really have it at all. You kind of have to discern for yourself when things happen in the timeline, which is why I think you were asking me, like, well, what do you think happened?
Well, and those 10 clues, quote unquote, that are included with the old DVD, those clues I think are mainly for this is a jump in time, or this is...
Yeah, I kind of caught on to that with like, because one of the clues is notice the color of the lampshade or something like that. And then you like clearly see that she has the same lamp next to the phone. Those clues kind of help, but they're also, I remember I was reading them and I was just like, okay.
I think as we went through them, did we look at them after the movie?
I was looking at them like a couple minutes into the movie. I think we paused at one point, and that's when I went over them, and I was just like, okay.
For a long time, thought it was kind of a goof on David Lynch's part. I'm like, these don't help at all.
Yeah.
But they do. They actually do.
Yeah.
We're not going to go over the list or anything, but
No.
it was just another one of those confusing aspects to me because I don't think I caught on to the non-linear aspect of it.
Yeah.
Even though this is post Pulp Fiction, I mean, famous non-linear story.
Yeah.
The changing identities or changing characters or even just changing names, however you want to look at it, I think is the part that really threw me off. Like, I don't know who is Naomi Watts supposed to be right now? Who is Laura Herring supposed to be right now?
Oh, yeah, because especially the Camilla stuff gets weird because she is brunette and all of that. But in the initial plot, let's call it, she's blonde and like just a random girl who we see on a picture, and then we see her singing.
This is the girl.
She's another character.
Yeah. It's a completely different person.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing that threw me off as well.
Mm-hmm.
What? I thought we had a Camilla Rhodes already.
Yeah. Well, I'm confused. It gets a little strange. And then when Rita starts talking about Diane, you're like, okay, another blonde lady. And then it switches and you're like, I'm confused.
I mean, we might as well get into that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of theories out there, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a couple a few days ago, and one of them drove me nuts because this guy, and I think it was like for Variety, it was a big name publication, kept calling Betty dumb.
Betty is not dumb.
The character he described as being dumb. And I'm like, she's not dumb.
No.
She's wholesome.
I mean, she's naive at best. I don't think she's stupid. I mean, I was getting on her for being like, why are you letting this lady stay in the apartment? But as you pointed out, she thinks it's her aunt's friend.
Right.
So I let it slide. But I don't think she's stupid by any means. I think she's just kind of naive. And that's the point.
Yeah, and that's an example he used for her being dumb. How would she know that this isn't a friend of her aunt's staying there?
It's not like Rita's responding or anything.
She throws out questions that she constantly answers about who Rita is or why she's there, and never gives, not that Rita at that point is going to be able to answer any of the questions.
Yeah,
it's just kind of funny how that each question is solved by herself.
Yeah, she's like, are you my aunt's friend? You must be. Like, girl,
sure.
what?
That's why you're here.
What?
Taking a shower.
Yeah, and just, let me walk into the bathroom. Oh, I'm so sorry you're showering. Let me stay in here for 5 more minutes and talk to you a little more while you're naked. So, I love Betty. She's, wholesome. I think wholesome's a good little term.
She's from Deep River, Ontario. She's a young Canadian here in Hollywood for the first time.
Yeah, down in LA.
I don't see her as dumb or stupid. I just see her as open and wholesome and not questioning, but she's
curious. Yeah. I mean, she also, once she kind of befriends Rita, she's like, well, I'll help you. Like, she's very chill and just a little curious about everything. LA, Hollywood, and also this random lady that was in her apartment.
Well, and mysteries are intriguing.
Yeah.
That's the same idea from Blue Velvet. That's, to me, a direct line there is central to that story is a mystery that Kyle MacLachlan's character is trying to solve. Betty is doing the same thing here with the person that it involves. Whether that mystery gets solved or not isn't really all that important.
No.
I think that's where people, and even myself, kind of got hung up. Like, did we figure out the mystery to this? Kind of?
Yeah, kind of. Because they're trying to figure out who Rita is and what happened to her. I'd say they get pretty close.
Well, and then the Diane Selwyn stuff, though, becomes sort of the mystery.
Yeah. Like, who is she?
Am I Diane Selwyn, or who is she if it's not me?
Who is she?
Does she know me? Will she help me solve this mystery of my own amnesia? You know, then that splits our movie.
But I still think even the Diane stuff gets kind of answered. In a way, you figure out who it is.
That's where we have the theories.
Yeah.
Another one of the theories that I read was like trying to dispute the main theory, which I'll just go ahead and throw out here. The main theory is that the initial story, the opening story, is Diane Selwyn's dream.
Yeah.
So you can split it out by that. There are clues, some of the clues on that 10 things list that help, and just some of the visual clues in the film, like the lampshade, like the blue key, like her phone, et cetera, that tell you what timeline we're in.
Yeah.
So the person was trying to dispute the fact that this was Diane's dream. They used the same instances of those clues and the other visual clues. And I'm like, you're not disputing it. You're reinforcing it. What are you talking about? So you're basically you're saying it's her dream, but in a different way.
But it's not. Yeah.
That's one of the main interpretations that at the beginning of the film, I believe after we see the dancing, the couple, 3 or 4 couples in their doppelgangers kind of going around, there's like 3 couples in that dance sequence that they
kind of like overlap and switch back and forth.
So the dance contest that Betty supposedly won is what opens the story. And then after that, we see a POV shot of somebody going to sleep. Somebody's head hitting a pillow.
Oh, yeah.
And going to sleep. For my eye, it's the same pillow that Diane is on later.
Yeah.
The main theory is that this beginning of the movie with Betty and Rita is Diane's dream. A romanticized dream about coming to Hollywood and becoming a starlet. Because in that version, Betty has this, what do you call it? Where you go try to get a part.
Like go to an audition?
She has this like gangbusters audition that just puts everybody in the room like mouths agape, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great scene because when she and Rita are rehearsing earlier, that she's doing well, but they're kind of goofing around and stuff.
I think I made a comment during that scene that I was like, oh, I would do this with my friends in my drama class. Like, that's like what you do, kind of just read the lines out.
But when she gives her actual audition, it's like, it's good.
It's hardcore. Yeah, she does it.
And everybody in the room is blown away, but it probably doesn't matter. Well, we know it doesn't matter because of this whole thing going on in the background of the film. One of the backstory or one of the B stories, side stories, not really a B story since it is integral to the plot.
I'd call it a side story, yeah.
That it doesn't really matter that she did really well on this. She's not going to get the part. That's for a different movie, though. So I'm getting confused here. That's not for the Sylvia North story.
It's not okay, because I was going to say that still has to do with Camilla, so that's like still a connection.
Yeah, she still probably won't because of the schmooziness and grossness of the industry, and she doesn't have any work behind her.
Yep.
Then she goes and watches the Sylvia North rehearsals and catches Justin Theroux's eye and blah, blah, blah.
They have their stare off.
Yeah. And then we break in at a certain point to Diane Selwyn's actual life.
Yeah.
There are the same actresses playing different roles, so it becomes confusing.
Yeah.
I kind of like that theory. I mean, it doesn't bother me that it's simple.
Yeah, I can subscribe to that theory. I think it's fine. The dream, waking up from the dream, the whole thing was a dream is such like a classic trope, but it works when you cut back to Diane, like all of these things in her life. I have plenty of dreams where like I'm not myself. I have plenty of dreams where I'm a different person, but it's still me. I don't know. So like I can see that being a good theory, and I have people from real life who come into my dreams and are like that, like Camilla. Yeah. So I can, it's simple, but it works.
I only ever have dreams where I'm a different age. I can't say that I've ever like felt or been another person. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm a person a lot of the time. Like I'll be people from like TV shows I watch, but I'm them, but I'm still me.
Huh.
I don't know.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever had that happen. Yeah, sure. It's just as fun as flying around.
Yeah, your classic lucid dream of you flying around the house.
Yeah. Yep. I think some people are bothered by that because it's quote unquote too simple.
Yeah, whatever.
But if you make the connection, which a lot of people do, to Wizard of Oz, then
it's just that.
He's a known fan of Wizard of Oz, and there are, I mean, Wild at Heart has all kinds of Wizard of Oz stuff in it. Like literal Glinda the Good Witch is in Wild at Heart. So
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's awesome. What?
Yeah. I don't dispute that idea either, that there are Wizard of Oz-ish things going on. Like, I'm not going to sit there and try to match up who is who. You know, who is Justin Theroux's character? Who is Rita? Who is the guy in the wheelchair with the really long legs?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Or the Castiglione brothers, or, you know, whatever. That's fine.
The cowboy. Who's the cowboy?
Cowboy.
There's sometimes a buggy.
None of that interests me, really.
That's so funny.
It wouldn't surprise me that Wizard of Oz leaks into many of his films.
Well, and also, to get kind of annoying with it, Wizard of Oz is like notorious for all of the weird stuff that happened to female cast members on that movie. Like Judy Garland.
Right.
I can't remember the witch's name, but her getting burned in her makeup. All of them having eating disorders.
Yeah.
So there's your connection to the actual theme of the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The eating disorder thing, and Judy Garland being the prime example of that.
Yeah.
And people much older than her, when she was a teenager, you know, pumping her full of amphetamines to keep her thin and all that kind of crap that goes on. Scary stuff. So
Yep.
wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's obviously not the only theory you can have with the David Lynch film, any of his films, except maybe Blue Velvet. You know, that's pretty straightforward. I don't think it's so open for interpretation. I mean, there are loose ends in that film that you can interpret differently. But for this, or Lost Highway, or Inland Empire, there's going to be an Andy Racerhead. And he always says, none of them are wrong. They might not be mine, but you can have whatever interpretation you want of my film.
Well, again, that clip of him being asked to explain something, he just goes, no.
Can you elaborate on that? Oh, good. You just gave me a chance to put my favorite quote in again.
Yeah.
Eraserhead is my most spiritual film. Oh, elaborate on that. No.
Nope. It's such a good clip.
Believe it or not, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film.
Why elaborate on that?
No.
So I asked you what your interpretation was, and I like this. I was surprised to hear it.
Yeah. Well, because I also totally had to say it. The girl in Triangle is in this, and that might have affected my viewing, my point of view, because Triangle is a time loop purgatory movie specifically. Like, she's Sisyphus, basically. But I saw that kind of as a similar route. It wraps all the way around. She wants to, if we go to the Diane plot at the end of the movie, she's actively going a little crazy, and she wants to put a hit out on Camilla.
Right.
And then that happens at the beginning of the movie. So to me, it was a time loop of some sort. And then the purgatory aspect is just because she kills herself eventually. Right. And that body is in the first half of the movie. And it's seeping through what actually happened, or is going to happen, or already has happened. It's just a loop in my brain. That's what I interpreted it as. And then I guess the purgatory is the explanation for the loop. But I just think, simplistically, it's just a time loop where I guess you could say the beginning is when it first cuts back to Diane, and she's tweaking out about the movie and her part getting taken from her lesbian lover. And then it wraps all the way back around.
It makes sense to me, because the one thing that still throws me off is the fact that Diane, and sorry for the spoilers, folks, if you haven't seen this old movie, the fact that Diane kills herself, Betty and Rita find that body.
Yeah, they find her.
What? So either a loop or the purgatory idea makes sense, or your last dying. Not so much a dream, but...
That's also the other, more minor one I had, was that was the last things that she thought of.
Yeah, her life flashing before your eyes.
Yeah.
However, but in a glorified way, not in the real
Yeah, like a romanticized, deathly way.
I get the girl, and I'm going to help her with this, and
then I disappear when I open the box.
Yeah, I mean, and that part of it too, where, that's when they switch. That's when
they switch. But she does just vanish for a couple of seconds, and then it switches. So I think they
both vanish.
Yeah, they do. That's true.
After the box is opened. Sorry, we're jumping around, folks.
I mean, you kind of have to, I feel, when you're talking about this movie.
The switch takes place when Rita sneaks into Aunt Ruth's apartment. She has with her, in her bag, a mysterious blue box. No, a mysterious blue
It's a key. Yeah, she has the key.
And a load of cash.
She has so much money on her, just in that little purse.
one of the mysteries that they're trying to figure out is, what is this key for?
Yeah.
What's the money from?
Why do you have either of these things? Who are you? All that stuff.
Later on in Club Silencio, the box appears in her purse. So once that box is opened, Rita immediately disappears.
She's just popped.
Or does Betty open it?
Let me check.
One of them disappears and then the other one disappears and the room is empty, and Aunt Ruth comes back into the room because she has heard a noise. And that also suggests the time loop that Aunt Ruth has not gone on her trip yet. Yeah.
Rita unlocks it, but Betty disappears first.
Okay. Right. She says, Betty? Like real nervously, like, where are you? Kind of.
Betty like walks away or something, and then she's just gone, and then Ruth comes in. Yeah.
Well, I think she literally disappears in the framework of the film. I don't think she like steps out of the room.
No, I don't think that's what I think she just is like, that's when it starts again.
Resets.
Yeah. The box is like the reset button. Once they unlock it, it's done. Because there's like nowhere else to really go after that point, if you think about it. Because like they found Diane's body. They kind of have already not necessarily figured out who Rita is, but like they've gotten clues and stuff. So then, once they open the box, it's just like, okay, time to go all the way back.
And whether or not Betty and or Diane actually has an Aunt Ruth that lives there in that apartment. I mean, is any of that stuff in that apartment real? Because we know that the landlady, Coco Ann Miller, is not the landlady in the Diane Selwyn story.
No, she's
Justin Theroux's mom.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name for the life of me in the film.
Adam Kesher?
Some people switch roles, which I think is common in dreams. I mean, I've never switched roles as far as I can remember, but I know that I'm talking to someone who is supposed to be somebody else. And I'm like, when I wake up, I'm like, well, that wasn't them.
That wasn't them. That happens to me all the time. And then, I switch roles all the time.
Oh, that must be fun because I never do that. I'm always boring old me.
Yeah, it's strange.
The time loop thing, or Mobius strip, as it's described, makes sense to me, and or purgatory. I mean, combined time loop, purgatory. What else would purgatory be but like reliving?
Yeah, that's why I said Sisyphus earlier, talking about triangle. Like, that's literally like what it is. She's doing the same thing over and over again.
With the same outcome.
Yeah, or at least Diane is doing the same thing over and over again and still disappearing into the box.
Well, and we get those clues like at Winkie's with the waitress.
I was going to talk about, because he goes on his whole rant about there's a guy and then the like looking worried and stuff. And then that kind of happens later with different characters.
You're getting ahead of me. I was just referencing when Betty and Rita are there and they see the waitress with the name tag Diane. You're talking about earlier with Patrick Fischler, my favorite man in this movie.
You're in both dreams. And you're scared. I get even more frightened when I see how afraid you are, and then I realize what it is. There's a man in back of this place. He's the one who's doing it. I can see him through the wall. I can see his face. I hope that I never see that face ever outside of a dream.
So let's talk about that scene, the famous Winkie's scene.
Yes.
I believe that's the first time I had seen Patrick Fischler in anything. He hadn't done a whole lot before then, so that is most likely true. And I just remember thinking, when your mom and I were first watching this, who the hell is this guy?
Well, he plays that scene so well. It's so serious and like...
Well, he is inherently creepy to me in that scene.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's very strange.
He doesn't have a really weird look or anything, but there's just something about his veins are bulging on his head.
I think it's because he's so stressed out about what he's talking about and you're just immediately like uncomfortable too. Because you're like,
Yeah.
why are you so freaked out?
And his eyes are buggy and
And I feel like his eyes are also kind of watering too.
right.
He's just like not in the greatest shape in that scene.
But his delivery, and this is something that continues throughout his career, his line delivery just absolutely kills me. I love Patrick Fischler.
Yeah.
He's in The Return.
Yeah, and you're like, I love you.
Anytime I see him show up in something, he's just one of those guys that I'm always happy to see show up.
Yeah.
He's roughly the same age as me, and that has something to do with it. And I don't know. I just love him. I just wanted to point out to people, there is a much more in-depth, on-point discussion of Mulholland Drive by my friends over at the projection booth, which you should go listen to because Mike White interviews Patrick Fischler. It's a fantastic interview. And he also got to talk to Laura Herring.
That's so cool.
That is an amazing interview as well. That gal has gone through some stuff as a kid that is just mind-blowing. But anyway, go listen to that if you want like real in-depth stuff
like
about the
information.
movie.
Yeah,
like
because we're
actual
just
information. We're just riffing here.
Yeah, literally.
Having fun talking about a crazy movie. The Winkie scene, I love.
It's just so iconic. I remember I turned to you when we were watching it and I was like, I've heard this scene before. It's all over TikTok.
That does not surprise me at all.
That scene where he says, there's a man, there's a pause and he goes, there's a man, all over TikTok. I've heard it before. I hadn't seen that whole scene, but I had seen him sitting at that bench before talking. And I was just like, oh yeah, I know this. Obviously not what it entailed fully because like, what the hell?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, what does this have to do with anything? It's one of those things. And we're seeing a lot of that in Twin Peaks: The Return. Those out of context, non sequitur scenes.
Yeah.
It does have something to do with the movie in a couple different ways. I mean, he is not the only character, but this is the main I had a dream scene.
Yeah.
I had a dream about this place.
He is retelling a dream that he has had. Take that for what it's worth as far as your interpretation of the film as a whole. And that does connect to the later scene in the same Winkies. And I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I always think that since they are in Winkies later on, I always think that Patrick Fischler scene is broken up throughout the film. Where he talks about his dream and then we take a break and, we go maybe back to Betty and Rita or the Hollywood, the Adam Kesher part of the story.
Yeah.
But no, he tells his friend or therapist or lawyer or whoever the hell that guy is.
I don't know.
About his dream.
For some reason, I thought he was like a law enforcement person when we watched it. I don't know why.
I always assumed he was like his therapist and they were having a session out of the office because it had to do with this real place.
Yeah.
And because he basically makes him go out and confront this fear he has.
Yeah.
The guy that he's with makes Patrick Fischler go out.
And then more stuff on kind of dreams and even in a way time loops. It all literally happened. Like he says what happens in his dream and then it exactly happens. He sees the people really worried at the table and stuff, which can be something on deja vu and how low-key the whole movie is kind of deja vu in a sense. Then when Betty finds Diane's body, you can just kind of be like, it's happening again.
He is relaying his dream and he's like, you're standing at the register and you look really concerned. And then he looks over and the guy looks really concerned.
Yeah.
They immediately walk out and this person who he is terrified of, honestly, the first time I'm like, there's not going to be anything back there. I was really surprised that a figure emerged from behind the dumpster.
Yeah. I like how that scene was done too, because it's not like a modern jump scare or whatever. They literally just walk into frame and then like right off while he like faints. But like they just go stop and then walk away. It's such a good...
Yeah, and that sound effect, kind of the whooshing sound effect.
Yeah.
When he, quote unquote, he comes into frame.
Even though...
by a woman, Bonnie Aarons.
Who I recognize like immediately. I was like, oh, that looks like the nun. And it is.
She's been in a lot of horror movies. She has a very, very specific face.
Yeah, she's got distinct features.
Distinct is what I meant, not specific. We all have specific faces.
Yeah.
We see him later on. Is it during, though? Now I'm confused. Is it during the Betty Rita scene in the Winkies? Or is it with Diane and the hitman in the Winkies that we see Winky's man?
Oh.
I think it's with Diane and the hitman.
Oh,
I believe.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. I think we're right. We're gonna have to fact check that.
It doesn't matter really, because the point is, oh, there's that guy again. Okay, so this is which timeline?
Yeah, like when does this take place? What's happening? Yeah.
Winkie's is important because of these 3 separate events that happen there. The dream thing, Betty and Rita going through them. They're starting to solve the mystery at the Winkie's. And that's when they see the waitress with the name tag Diane, is very pointed that it's Diane. It's the name of her other character in this.
Yeah.
I believe at some point it's mentioned that was a waitress or had waitress jobs. So I'm like, is she
probably
in her dream? Is this supposed to be her? That's, I think, when they get the phone book, they call the number and get the answering machine because it jars Rita's memory. That name, Diane, sparks her memory. And
yeah, she recognizes it. Yeah.
And then later on at the Winkie's is where Diane is hiring the hitman to kill Rita/Camilla.
Yeah. Oh.
I think it took me forever to realize that's what's happening at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the hit.
Yeah. That's what reinforces my time loop thing. She puts a hit out on her, and then it's followed through, and then she can't remember anything, and then all that happens with Betty.
The hit fails.
Yeah, she doesn't
because
get
of the
killed.
car wreck.
Yeah.
In the opening sequence, Rita is on a drive up Mullholland Drive in a limousine with 2 chauffeurs. They stop in the middle of the road, and they're going to kill her. And then they get hit by the teens.
It's okay.
Driving like maniacs. And the chauffeurs are killed. She crawls out and has lost her memory. But that's what the hitman is talking about with that other guy in that office building. Because they're talking about the wreck.
Yeah.
And laughing. Like, oh, can you believe it? That's so crazy. A car wreck. Again, for me, who knows how many times I watched it before I even made that connection that that's what they were talking about. Car wreck? What? Oh, from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we didn't have to kill this lady because this happened and took her out instead. Great.
Which I was going to say, awful, hit men, because you should check because she wasn't dead.
I think you would just assume that everybody in that wreck, probably
died.
The only reason she didn't is because the limousines are long cars and she's in the middle. And I believe they get hit
at the front.
So definitely
that's true.
The 2 guys driving died.
R.I.P.
But then there's the black book that the one guy has, the long-haired guy has, that he basically gets killed for. And that's sort of one of the things that I have no idea. I'm assuming it has more to do with the Hollywood stuff that's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it has to do with Adam or something. I don't even know if I even thought about the book. Watching the movie, I was probably just it's a book.
Yeah, I don't know if those 2 worlds are connected or if it's just, I need that because my name is in it and I don't want any part of this getting out. And I love that scene. And he accidentally shoots that woman through the wall, and then he's got to kill her, and then he's got to kill the guy that's vacuuming.
And she's wailing about it, and is I think something bit me, or whatever she says. And it's just, and it's you have a bullet in your butt cheek. What are you talking about? It's so chaotic.
For a split second there, I thought that was the gal that is in Twin Peaks: The Return, the neighbor, where the librarian's body is discovered. And I was so hoping that would be true, but it wasn't.
Unfortunate. Are there any other Patrick Fischler's in The Return? Obviously, Naomi Watts is.
Yeah, Robert Forrester, the cops at the beginning, who appear for 2 seconds.
Literally 2 seconds,
Yeah, they were in the pilot, I believe, more, and probably would have been on the show if it had been picked up more as those characters. Yeah, I always found that we never saw Robert Forrester again. What the hell happened to him?
It's okay.
If you don't know, this was supposed to be a pilot, or it was shot as a pilot for ABC in 1999. They declined, and so he reworked it. And I believe a lot of that is this. I mean, they reshot some stuff and added some stuff, but a lot of it is what was shot for the pilot. That's why I was trying to find it the other day. I wanted to see how much of it was the same.
Yeah, I believe that they just like used what they had. Why not?
Well, and that's the thing with David Lynch. It's like change a few things, add something, and I don't know that it would have had the loop or
I was gonna say
character swap or dream stuff. That's probably what was added for the film version to make it make sense. Make sense, quote unquote.
Yeah, whatever your your definition of make sense is. Again,
was why I could have sworn I had seen it on YouTube at some point, but it's not on there right now. I would have been curious to see what the differences were, if any of that loop or purgatory or dream content is in there. I feel like it probably wasn't.
Yeah, I also can't imagine you never know with David Lynch, but I can't imagine stretching that type of story out for multiple episodes, because it's like we said earlier, it's not like a concrete non-linear thing. So I feel like it would be kind of maybe more difficult.
I may be misremembering this, but I want to say it might have been more like a anthology where it's not just about finding out who Diane Selwyn is.
Yeah, okay.
Which was probably the main thrust of this pilot.
Yeah.
That mystery of it.
Who are these ladies?
This is the girl. So let's just say I'm driving this buggy. And if you fix your attitude, you can ride along with me.
I like the dream theory. I like the infinite loop theory a lot. Either one of the, and or purgatory. I think they're sort of almost synonymous.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
An endless loop would be hell, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like Groundhog Day, hello. Do you have any specific?
Like I mentioned before we recorded, for a long time, I honestly thought they were just playing different people. Or like doppelgangers.
Yeah.
This is now Diane's story.
These are just completely different people.
They just look alike.
Yeah.
Exactly alike, not like similar. And so for a long time, I just took it as they're two different people.
Yeah.
Not really making the connection with the names, or the names are coincidences. Diane Selwyn. We don't necessarily know that waitress was named Diane Selwyn. Well, obviously she wasn't, but the
Diane,
Camilla Rhodes thing being Melissa George in the main story and being Laura Herring in this part of the story. I think for a long time, I just sort of thought they either that or they turned into different people.
Yeah.
Which comes more from Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Being his previous film where, like I said, one guy turns into another guy and sort of makes the other guy disappear. The real other guy kind of just gets taken over and goes away.
You could say kind of happens because they also poof.
Right. So, yeah, I think for me, that was more my understanding, like swap out as opposed to dream or loop or anything like that.
Yeah.
Betty is now Diane. Rita is now Camilla.
Yeah.
The other Camilla is still there, but she's probably not named Camilla.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all kind of kissing on each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of that was in the pilot for ABC.
Not any of the lesbian, you don't think?
Well, I mean, there could have been lesbian undertones, but not the stuff we see in the film.
Yeah, I don't know if you I don't know if you saw my Letterboxd review, but all I put was just like hashtag Pride Month when we watched it.
It did not surprise me, even the first time I watched this, that they end up
touching on each other
together. Yeah. I mean, it was like
no, yeah, I feel like from the start Betty had because again, me talking about her just like standing in the bathroom with her naked, and I was like, okay, girl. Well, and that's also just a naivety thing again. Yeah.
Like not giving someone their personal space, not so much like, oh, I'm admiring your body
you're so sexy. Yeah, no, I think she's just silly, but yeah, I wasn't surprised either. Also, I think I kind of already knew because it's
probably,
like such a pop culture thing that
it's a 25-year-old movie.
Yeah.
One of the things I read was like, really? Why did we need this in this movie?
Or why not?
just like, well, shut up.
I'm like, also, like, what do you... Denise is in Twin Peaks, and that was it from 89. Like, why are you surprised that much?
Well, just
about
like
this
it's
movie?
Unnecessary. It doesn't have anything to do with the mystery or finding out who Diane Selwyn is or blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever.
cares?
It's key to Diane's story because she's in love with Camilla.
Camilla's getting married.
Yeah, is losing her to Adam Kesher. And
yeah, I feel like it is integral at a certain point because that's like the whole reason she does a lot of the things that she does.
Even in the dreamscape or purgatory part of her story, the mystery is there, obviously, but it's about her getting this girl.
This is the girl.
Yeah.
Betty gets Rita in that portion of the story before they both disappear.
Oh, I remembered the lady that sings, that they go and see, who sings, is in Twin Peaks. The Return. She was in, like, was that 11? One of the last episodes that we just watched.
One of the last of that section of episodes we watched,
Yeah. And Rebecca she sings too.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't think anyone else, other than the people that we already mentioned. Unless I'm just forgetting.
Well, the redheaded guy, Scott Coffey, who's at the dinner for Camilla and Adam, I don't even know if he has any lines in this. Yeah, I believe he had a bigger part in the pilot. Because if you look up the pilot online, there are screenshots of him talking on the phone.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He's part of the Hollywood part of the story.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that's in the rabbit costumes in Rabbits.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on one of the later episodes.
You, like, just told me that, I think. So it was one of the last few episodes that we watched.
He was screaming about somebody. Richard
something,
or Steve, one of the creeps or some, I don't know. He was screaming about something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm sure, we might stumble on a couple more. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure. Everybody's interconnected. It makes me... This is kind of more because the Robert Eggers werewolf trailer just came out. And a big thing I keep seeing people complain about is that it's like all the same cast members from like The Northman and Nosferatu. And I'm like, directors have been doing that for decades.
Yeah. I don't.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know what that complaint is about.
It's dumb. Mike Flanagan casts his wife in it, like every project he makes. Like, get over it.
Yeah, that's not something that ever enters my mind. I mean, it does enter my mind, but it's usually in a positive, like, oh, good, they're working together.
Yeah, like, oh, yay, I get to see Patrick Fischler again.
Yeah, David Lynch used a lot of the same people over and over. Martin Scorsese does that. Tons and tons of directors do that. It's, like you said, I mean, that's the norm in my eye.
Yeah, like I'm not...
You work with people you're comfortable with that you know you can get what you want from.
Like, especially when you're like, let's say David Lynch or Robert Eggers, I feel like they both have very specific aesthetics that they want. And so, I would use the same people I know I can get that result from. So I'm like, why do you care?
Okay, I can see the other side of like, I always want to work with new people to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, like get new blood in. That's valid, but like...
Yeah, I don't understand that as a complaint.
Like, if we were talking about Nepo babies, then maybe I'd get it, but like...
Even then, I don't care. I have no issue with
Yeah, you're like, well, whatever. If they can act, it's good.
It's the family business. It makes sense.
Yeah.
As long as they're talented.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, if they're like a nothing burger, then I get annoyed.
Do whatever you want. Who cares?
Yeah.
This isn't like the government.
Yeah.
If you're hiring your family, who does that sound like? Your family and friends for your government job, then maybe I have an issue with nepotism.
Yeah.
With movies and TV and music, I can care less.
When it's literal entertainment, like, okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
Silly stuff.
I did want to talk about the Hollywood part of the story, just the scenes like with the I'm probably saying their names wrong, the Castiglione brothers or whoever they are, Angelo Badalamenti and I'm going to forget his name, but them steering this whole production and calling the shots. And I believe the person behind all that is Wheelchair Man.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the guy in the wheelchair.
In the wheelchair behind the glass.
In his containment room.
Yeah, in his, I guess, Howard Hughes-esque isolation booth.
Yeah, literally what? Okay.
And it's so interesting that it's Michael Anderson, the guy that plays the man from another planet, or man from another place. Slash the arm, slash the tree, and
slash whatever that thing is.
So he was still working with that guy at that point, but it just always struck me as funny, having watched Twin Peaks quite a bit by this time, that he's in that wheelchair and has like leg extensions.
I know. He has like I think even he has like longer arms too, doesn't he? Like it's just so weird.
Are we supposed to think, like, I know who this guy is, so I know that he doesn't have long arms and long legs? Or is it just, this is interesting just because of maybe his head in relation to his body? Or what?
It could be both. Obviously, because I've also seen Twin Peaks at this point, I was immediately like, what the hell? Because I know him as a little person. Like, he is obviously not that tall. What the hell?
Right.
So, honestly, it probably was both.
Or is the character
supposed to, like in universe, supposed to be, like, extended like that?
Or is he, I'm in a wheelchair, so why not just pretend that I have long arms and long legs? Yeah. It's neither here nor there, but it's just one of those things, like, this is so strange knowing who this guy is. And I think even if you hadn't seen Twin Peaks, you'd probably be like, I don't think that guy's that tall.
Something is not right. Yeah. Oh, that's so strange. Yeah, I have no idea.
I enjoy the Adam Kesher stuff a lot. Him going up against the producers or studio execs or whoever, bashing in their cars.
That was crazy. That was like his first thought to get back at them was just like destroy their car.
And then he runs away and leaps in his car and drives off.
I know.
This is something that David Lynch would have personal history with. Producers. I mean, I think he got lucky in a lot of ways, particularly with The Elephant Man. I think Mel Brooks was like, man, do whatever you want. And I know definitely not with Dune. Blue Velvet, I know he had gained enough trust with Dino De Laurentiis to have final say on that movie, blah, blah, blah. But, I'm sure he dealt with this as far as censorship and things like that, things that had to be cut in a lot of his movies, particularly the violence. So I understand that he gets this side of it, like, hey, put my daughter in your film, speaking of nepotism. And for whatever reason, they want this Camilla Rhodes. And in this version, it's the Melissa George Camilla Rhodes.
Yeah.
They really want her to be the lead in this movie that he's making. So with him blustering that he doesn't care and he's not going to do this, they pretty much destroy his life. Yep. They freeze his bank accounts and they don't make his wife cheat on him, but this happens on the same day as well. And I love that scene up in that fancy house of his with Billy Ray Cyrus.
I know, that was crazy that because I recognized him, but then it just didn't click until you said that, and I was like, oh my god,
Miley Cyrus's dad. And him ending up in that sleazy motel, then getting the call that he needs to go meet the cowboy, which is probably my favorite scene in this movie.
Man's attitude goes some ways, the way his life will be. Is that something you might agree with?
Sure.
It's such a strange one.
It's one of those ones, though, that's pivotal to the movie because he reinforces everything that's gone on before with the Castiglione brothers and the man in the wheelchair. They're directing all of this, and it's going down the line, all those phone calls that people are making, and you see the back of that guy's head on the phone and talking to the man in the wheelchair and then the brothers, et cetera, on down the line, directing all this to happen this way.
Yeah.
When he goes to meet the cowboy. And that's one of the things, his drive up to meet the cowboy is one of those things that sort of encompasses the whole movie for me because it's creepy and it's just shots of a road.
Yeah, at night, it's like just the headlight illuminating the road. It's very like ominous at points.
Ominous is the word. And a lot of the movie is shot in such a way that many of the scenes done differently wouldn't appear ominous.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know if this is the right word, but sometimes it's kind of like voyeuristic, like just like looking in on stuff. And like even on the road where you're just like, I shouldn't be like looking at this angle of the road at night with the headlights. It's very, spooky.
And the voyeurism thing, I mean, that's Blue Velvet in a nutshell, for one thing. And that is a through line, again, with this, because a lot of Blue Velvet is shot in such an eerie way as well. And it's down to everything, the lighting, the cinematography, and the framing of shots it's very unnerving throughout the film. Just the way that people are blocked, how they're set up in the shots and frames with each other. And they may just be talking to each other, but it's like something is uncomfortable about this.
I think the creepiest for me, the road part when he goes up to the cowboy is pretty spooky, but I found I was pretty uncomfortable during the whole when Betty and Rita go to find Diane's apartment and they talk to the neighbor, and it's just so off and strange. And then of course when they finally get there into the building, she's dead. But the whole beforehand of just being out in the yard looking through the windows, it's just weird.
And that is another good example of that. And the Winkie scene, the camera's kind of floating. When he's talking, and it does that in other parts of the film too, and it's unnerving. That drive up to see the cowboy and then his interaction with the cowboy, I just absolutely love that guy. I love his delivery of those lines. I know I mentioned to you that he is a producing partner of David Lynch's.
Yeah, he's not really,
It's just so perfect. And how he is just not having anything to do with this Hollywood assholes dude.
He does not care. He's
stop being a smart aleck. And this is totally a tangent. But when I think about, this being a pilot shot for ABC, I'm a lot of the scenes there's no cussing or no. Obviously, there's sexual stuff in the newly added portions, but I'm okay, this kind of makes sense. This is sort of tame in a lot of ways.
Once I feel you can kind of get the little twinge of TV elements, but not in a bad way.
Right.
Not at all. It's just oh yeah, this is less, if it were a different, not even a different director, but just, if it was made for something else at the time, it wouldn't be maybe scripted in the way that it was. But I liked that, just how simple it is. No cursing with the cowboy and stuff. Because he still gets his point across.
Well, yeah. And also it could, who knows, that I don't even know if that's part of the pilot. He says smart aleck instead of smart ass.
Smart ass,
which, smart ass in 1999, I'm pretty sure you could say on TV anyway. So that probably has nothing to do with what I'm getting at. But it just made me think when I was remembering, this was originally supposed to be a pilot. Oh yeah, it is. It's very tame in certain sections of the film, because Blue Velvet, the F word is said I don't know how many times in that movie, particularly by Dennis, or only by Dennis Hopper practically.
Nice.
There isn't a lot of that in this movie, and it's kind of surprising for a David Lynch film, I guess. Anyway.
It's kind of nice though at times. I love cursing, but sometimes it works better for stuff to get the point across without you having to curse. Saying smart aleck, I think works way better for the scene than saying smart ass anyways. So
yeah, it does actually, especially for this character dressed up as he is in this ridiculous 10-gallon hat, and
his hat, everything, the flannel, everything he has on, it makes more sense to not be cursing anyways.
Yeah. And to be able to get his point, his pretty threatening point across without raising his voice. It's a very low tone, monotone, not country, but homespun, again, using that word again.
Yeah.
Delivery. I don't know. It's just that whole scene just tickles me to death every time it comes on. That's where we see, the light bulb doesn't blow out, but it does that kind of,
flickers.
Really bright thing.
Yeah.
And then the cowboy shows up and explains, you're going to do this or your life is going to be miserable, basically. Then that's when he's Camilla Rhodes, this is the girl.
You gotta do it.
When you see the girl that was shown to you earlier today, you will say, this is the girl. No, you're not thinking. You're too busy being a smart aleck to be thinking. Now I want you to think and stop being a smart aleck. Can you try that for me?
That whole thing with Adam Kesher and then it morphing into the Camilla Rhodes part of the story and stuff is interesting, and how that's different now. It's not directed by the higher ups. It's he, or maybe it is him. Still, but he's falling in love with her and
literally engaged and everything. Yeah. If you think about it too, back to the theory thing, if you think about either her last thoughts being romanticized or like dream romanticization of it. It's interesting that in like, let's say real life in this version, it's Adam marrying her and making her have the role. But in that other version, it's like the higher ups and stuff causing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of an avoidance of that connection directly to Camilla.
Right.
Just interesting stuff. Anyways, another like kind of strange scene is the one where it's when Adam and Betty are like staring at each other. I think that's kind of a weird, it's spooky in a sense too, because it goes from her singing, which is a fun little scene. I like that scene. And then, they just stare at each other for like an uncomfortably long time.
I think I always took that as, since we're in this whatever dream portion of the story, he knows that I'm the person for this part, even though this is the first time this guy has ever seen me.
Yeah.
But somehow we've made this connection and he knows that it should have
been her. Yeah.
Sylvia North or whoever that's what the movie is that they're casting.
Yeah, I kind of agree that it was some sort of recognizing her and that it should have been her, or just recognizing her period in a strange way.
Because she is in the Sylvia North story, in the Diane part of the story. She's an extra or whatever and gets to stay when they close the set down and Adam and Camilla are kissing in the car. He lets her stay, which is just obnoxious.
Yeah, like, okay.
Well,
again, like what?
Twisting the knife in,
Yeah.
My favorite parts of the casting scenes are the songs that the girls lip sync to.
Yeah.
I love both of those songs. I had one of them on my phone. I always say on my phone, whatever, in my songs.
Your music, your downloaded stuff.
And I could never find the Every Little Star song. Like every time I looked on iTunes, it wasn't available. I mean, there are other ways I could get it on my phone, but this time I
there's
found
secret
it.
ways. Oh, cool. Okay.
I found it on the soundtrack of a Japanese film. That's the only way I could get it through iTunes. Because on the Mullholland Drive soundtrack, it's locked.
Oh, that happens so much. I've run into that so many times.
Yeah, I finally got it on my phone.
Yay!
I love the one that Melissa George lip syncs to the most. I like the other song as well that the other gal does, who's like, I'm right for this part, Adam.
Yeah.
Why I love you.
This 50s music, and they're all 50s up.
It's almost like futuristic too, kind of.
Well, it's that atomic age design stuff. I mean, it was supposed to look futuristic back then in the 50s.
Yeah, the retrofuturism.
I always have this idea that it's like a oh shoot, no, I've forgotten her name too. Mariska Hargitay's mom, who died tragically in that car
crash.
Yes.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
It makes me think that this is the kind of story that this...
Jane Mansfield.
Jane Mansfield. Thank you. I always assume that that's the kind of story they're telling here. It's going to be a tragic 50s pop star story. I don't know why. Because of the movie and its mood, and it just makes me think that that's what they're shooting.
Yeah, I get that vibe too. It's just kind of, again, it's just probably like the vibe of the movie period that you're like, this is probably an ominous little picture that they're making here.
Because they don't say anything about what it's about. I don't know. I don't think they do they? No.
I don't remember. No, I don't think so.
And I think they just say the title like maybe once offhand.
Yeah, I don't think they go into detail about that movie, but I really like that.
Yeah, it's just me. It's my canon and my head canon. It's like that's what this is about.
Well, it's fun.
Somebody dying, getting their head chopped off in a car accident.
That scene is just like also visually cool because she has that really like pale lipstick on. It's different looking from the rest of the movie, which I like. And also they're in that weird little, I guess it's supposed to be like a projection booth for that movie, but it looks kind of strange because they filter in and out, the girls like walk in and out of it.
I think it's supposed to be a recording booth inside of the larger studio, if that makes sense.
It's just, it has cool framing.
They're behind glass. I mean, that's how recording studios are usually.
It's like a little white box with the glass pane in front of them.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that scene.
Yeah, I like both of the the auditions for that movie. Like I said, the songs, the different actresses doing it, they both give it their all, lip sync very well to the songs. Just fun.
I really liked a lot of the, like you said, well, we were kind of talking about it being more spooky, but just like the framing and visuals of the movie are very enjoyable because to a certain extent they're different from Twin Peaks, which like I love how Twin Peaks looks and all of that weird stuff, but it is different and it also has its own differences within it. Like I said, it's very pastel in that audition scene compared to the rest of the movie, but it's cool. I think it looks very good.
Aunt Ruth's apartment is very earthy and there's lots of wood and
early 2000s
warm.
Tuscan house type architecture.
And then Adam's modern
his cube house
up on top of the hill and
and even the cowboy, they're just in like a round pen and it's nighttime, very different looking for the rest of the film.
Diane's apartment, those famous quote unquote Snow White apartments in LA. I mean, those things are amazing looking.
And even the whole Winkie's portion, like the outside with the dumpster and the inside is different. It still has that kind of like old Hollywood 50s vibe to it, but it is different.
Those diners in the LA area all have kind of a very similar vibe to them. There was one in Pasadena that I always think of. I'm like, did they shoot that there? But it's been in a lot of movies, but I don't believe it's not the
that
Winkies
one
in this.
Yeah.
I think of it every time I watch the movie. But speaking of Diane's place and the clues that sort of pop in and out of that, like her piano ashtray and the neighbor, it's our ex-girlfriend, I guess. The one that
was that implied?
That Diane supposedly switched apartments with.
Yeah, even when the timeline like changed, I just still assumed that they were neighbors, but I guess, that could...
I don't know. The vibe tells me that they are broken up.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
In the Betty storyline, she says that they swapped apartments, but I think it was more like we were living together at some point and then now we're swapping, like I'm going into this one and she's keeping mine or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's coming back for her stuff in the Diane timeline. She is coming back to pick up her stuff. That to me doesn't mean like, oh, I moved out and left my stuff. We switched apartments and I forgot my stuff. It's more like you broke up with me and I still have stuff here. That's how that felt to me. That's when we see the phone and the lamp again. And
this is very true.
The blue key, which is a normal blue key in the Diane timeline.
Yeah, it's like a weird little triangle in Betty's timeline.
Yeah, it's like a stylized key in Bob.
Yeah, it looks like 3D printed. I know it's not because it's from, like 2000 whatever, but it kind of looks, it has that like, it's very vibrant and opaque, which is kind of why it looks like that in my brain. Yeah, it's a little like triangle stylized guy.
It's very possible that David Lynch made that himself, to be honest with you.
He probably did. I believe it.
Those little hints peppered throughout her apartment and the coffee mugs. There's a Winkie's one, I think, at some point, and then a different one. And that, I think, are keys to the timeline, the clues that are given in the list, as well as other things. But it's just always, that's what always confuses me, though. I'm like, wait, okay, the ashtray's there, but now it's gone. And the key is there, and now it's gone. She gets the key that confirms that they killed her. So it's just, the whole reason I'm bringing up her place is because when they find the body, but at the end, when she kills herself, when she shoots the gun and her room immediately fills up with that billowing smoke.
With the smoke, yeah.
Even right now, as I'm saying it, I'm getting goosebumps. For some reason,
it's weird.
I mean, it comes out. I don't know if they played with the frame rate of that to make it
maybe.
Because it doesn't look sped up like fast motion, but it seems to
It's probably the frame rate, yeah.
Seems to envelop the room much more quickly than any smoke normally would, unless they were just had some massive machines pumping it in.
Yeah.
But it fills up that room so quickly, and that is another one of those unsettling, eerie things.
Yeah, that part is, it's just like gross.
The lead up to that is we get reintroduced to the kindly elderly couple that Betty meets at the beginning of the film.
Dang, we really haven't talked about that whole thing yet at all, really. The elderly couple is like just strange and tiny.
What's their deal?
I couldn't explain that like at all.
They drop Betty off and then they have those rigged smiles on their faces.
Yeah, they're weird.
They seem pleasant enough, right?
Yeah, and then they become tiny and like...
Or not when they drop her off. They go off in the car and she gets in the cab.
Yeah.
The camera follows them, sticks with them while they drive off, and they're just, what? What is going on? Why are they grinning like that? Do they know what's going to happen?
They stare at her and like kind of freak her out, and then she goes and kills herself. It's very strange.
At the beginning, though, after they drop her off, not when they come back as little tiny creatures, but they do come back when the man behind the Winkies opens the box, or has the box. I guess it's already been opened. And the box falls on the ground, and they crawl out. But I think
he opens it again. He does something with it, because then, they come out of it, and they're like,
tiny, the size of not even mice. And then
they're so small.
Diane's apartment and crawl under the door, and then re-enlarge, which reminds me of Eraserhead, because the baby's head gets huge at the beginning of that and terrorizes Henry. So they are there, and they're terrorizing Diane as a part of this purgatory loop, I guess. She just is terrified, screaming as they're chasing her down the hallway.
Old people would probably be in my purgatory too. Don't bother me, old people.
Creepy old people with
creepy old
smiles on their faces. Yes, I can understand that.
Yeah, that whole aspect of the movie, I'm just like, well, yeah, that happens. I have absolutely no explanation for like them being there. They do kind of perpetuate a lot, like they drop Betty off, which other than Rita walking around kind of like starts the actual movie, or at least her plot.
They walk out with her. That was my mistake to say they drop her off.
Yeah.
They walk out and they get in their own car and she gets in a cab.
But they accompany her, let's say.
You know, they're rooting for her.
Yeah.
And it's all a very pleasant exchange, but is it because they're like come zombies back. Or something?
Yeah.
I mean, just at the beginning, there's something off.
They're strange. Yeah, they're strange at the beginning.
After they depart each other, there's something off about that.
And then, once they come back, that leads to her dying, which sets off the other stuff. They're weird.
They're at the beginning and the end of the loop, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We kind of already mentioned the, like, witchy lady. That was awesome.
Well, I mean, and who is she talking about?
Yeah.
Betty or Rita? Either, both?
Both, probably. I think we kind of got all of it.
So I guess you kind of did this at the beginning as the fourth of David Lynch's film that you've watched. Where does this rank for you?
I'd say probably like 1 for now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Would it be between this and Fire Walk with Me for you?
Maybe, but I still think Eraserhead's up there just because that was the first one that I watched. And it's so strange. I
mean, it's a singular thing. It's so...
Yeah.
This is the only person who could have made this movie type of deal.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like, I feel like, I'm like, I don't want to compare them. But yeah, maybe. I'll just say that for now. That might change, though. We'll see. But I really liked it.
I think coming out of it this last time, it moved up the number 2 spot, knocked Blue Velvet out. That may change at some point.
Yeah, maybe when...
really, really connected with it this time.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do, like I said, with the emotion of it. Like, there's a lot more feeling going on with the characters, with the situation. I don't know. Something about it just feels...
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional depth packed into the movie.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are set to go on our next Twin Peaks The Return episode as well. We have watched, as I mentioned, 7 through 12. Great section of the show.
That was a really good section, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into all that
very
on
solid.
That episode. Yeah, we'll dive into that stuff because it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of clarifications and a lot of questions answered and a lot of errors on my part came to light. So we'll hit on all that stuff then. So expect that pretty soon as well after this. And, we'll maybe watch another David Lynch film in the meantime.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Join us for all of that whenever they come out. Should people watch Mullholland Drive?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Thanks for joining me as always, Cleo. And thanks to everyone for listening. And we will be back very soon, I am sure. And don't forget,
anything can happen when you wake up heavy.
I hope that I never see that face ever outside of a dream.
Wow, this has just been such a pleasure. I'm such a lucky boy. I can't wait to go home